Tuggy Tugboat lived quietly in a snug little cove in Sleepy Creek. He lived just beyond the bend where the creek met the Chattahoochee River. For a long time, Tuggy had been the fastest, bravest, sturdiest tugboat on the river, and he could remember many exciting adventures. Here's a map of his home. That's where he lived, right there.
God bless you.
One time he was pulling a string of 6 barges filled with coal. Each one was fastened to another with a tow line. There are too many words here to say. A sudden storm blew up. The sky blew black as night. Thunder rumbled. Lightning flashed. You see any lightning? Yeah, there's some lightning up there. The wind howled until the river was filled with giant choppy waves. See the choppy waves? Like that. 2 sailors crawled along Tubby's deck toward the stern. They wanted to be sure that the tow line was tight. Towards the back. Suddenly one of the men slipped and fell with a splash into the dark water. "Man overboard," shouted his friend. See, he fell into the water. Quickly, Tuggy stopped, so fast that his boilers whistled with steam and his engine rattled. The wind and waves yanked at him, but Tuggy wouldn't budge. He held fast as the sailor took hold of his life preserver that his shipmates had thrown to him. Only when the sailor had been told to safety did Tuggy move on again. Another time there hadn't been any rain for weeks. There was hardly enough water in the river to keep the big boats afloat. A big oil tanker steaming upstream got stuck in the mud. Yeah, that's a big oil tanker, right?
It looks like the Titanic.
You think? Her engine sputtered. The tanker tried as hard as she could to get free, but was unable to move an inch. Then came Tuggy. He slid up to the tanker and made fast and began to pull. Tuggy churned up the muddy foam and wavelets as the tow ropes tightened. For a few minutes, it looked like he was going to be stuck too. "Hooray," said the sailors, "she's moving." And sure enough, she was. In just a little while, Tuggy had pulled the tanker into the middle of the river where the water was deep, so she could move on her own power. One evening, after supper, Tuggy was taking a little nap at his dock. Captain Larson, who owned him, was sitting on the deck reading a book when 2 men came aboard. At first they sounded excited, then he sounded sad. Finally the men left and Captain Larson stepped into Tuggy's cabin. "Well, Tuggy, I guess we don't have a job anymore. Those are the men we've been working for. We can't work for them anymore unless we take your steam boiler out and put a diesel engine in. We don't have enough money to do that. Besides, we like steam boilers, don't we?" He patted Tuggy's sides. "I guess we'll spend the rest of our days tied up here at our own dock, fishing and watching the world float by." And that's the captain talking to his boat, talking to Tuggy. And for a long time, that's what they did. Except now and then they took a trip up or down the stream. "I don't care if he's just a houseboat," Captain Larson said. "He's important to me, and I'm going to keep him in apple pie order." One morning, Captain Larson decided to take a trip up the river to visit his friend, who also lived in an old houseboat. They pulled into the dock and went to see his friend. That's his friend. Captain Anderson popped out of his cabin. "Hello," he said. "You're just in time. It's my grandson Johnny's birthday and I'm having a party. Come out on deck. In a moment, all the boys climbed out of the cabin. Happy birthday, Johnny. You look like your friends are having a good time. We are. We're pretending that we're the ship's crew and we're sailing out onto the river. If Grandpa had a good engine, he'd take us for a real ride. Captain Larson thought for a moment, Johnny, how would you and your friends like to take a ride on good ship Tuggy? Would you like to take a ride on the Tuggy? Yeah? Yeah. So with a loud toot toot, they were on their way. For miles and miles they chugged up the river, past the harbor, past busy boats, big and small, and past the shipyards where new ships were being built. Then they turned around and went back to Captain Anderson's dock. See, they're traveling up the river in the harbor. Tuggy's taking all the boys for a ride. Thank you, Captain Larson, Johnny said as his friend. This was the best birthday I ever had. We had a wonderful time, said Captain. As he and Tuggy chugged down the river, Captain Larson thought, why not? Why not do this? If those boys liked it, other boys and girls would like it too. So that's what they're have a little sign now. Tuggy's excursions, children only. Hardly a day goes by when Tuggy isn't busy carrying a group of boys and girls up and down the river. They're happier than they ever were before. Would that be fun? That's it.
Didn't you like that, Nicholas?
Is that a good one?